Welcome back. Right now, the president is presenting the constitutional instruments to give effect to the creation of the 6 new regions. Let's cross over.
The leadership and members of parliament, our revered clergy, friends from the media, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I am very happy to be here today for this significant milestone in the history of our country. The quest for the creation of new regions has a long history. In 2017, His Excellency the President established the Ministry of Regional Reorganization and Development specifically to spearhead the process of creating regions. Your Excellency, to ensure thorough consultations and sensitization of the public on the process consultative meetings with the various regional House of Chiefs from Western, Brown and Ahafo, Volta, and Northern region in May 2017, even before the petitions were formally forwarded by Mr. President to the Council of State. Mr. President, Shakespeare and his play Julius Caesar said, "Men doubt, but do not stain the even virtue of our enterprise, not the insuppressive metal of our spirits." Politicians are often accused of not keeping their word, breaking promises, and not keeping faith with those who waited for them. There was some doubt when His Excellency the President, Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, embarked on this venture to create new regions to reflect and fulfill the deeply and long-held aspirations of our citizens in those affected areas. There were even predictions of national tension, and attempts were made to denegate the long-held desires of our fellow citizens. In the face of such doubts and hand-wringing, it took a key leadership quality to ensure this went ahead. Leadership of courage allied to a firm vision. Courage that strengthens and puts steel in the endeavor of all men. Our president exhibited raw political courage, and we who serve had no choice but to respond to that courage and to help navigate the difficult political, social, and economic terrain required to make this a success. Mr. President, when we are all long gone and the history of our beloved country comes to be written, alongside all the things that make Ghanaians proud, will stand the courage of a president who dared to believe, dared to let his deepest democratic instinct result in action, dared to keep a promise made, and dared to take a stand. Certainly, no venture of this magnitude can all be down to one individual. Those who long envisioned this and those who have worked so hard over the last 2 years also deserve a full and fitting mention. The entire country also deserves to be congratulated, including those who oppose it on principle grounds. What we have proved is that with the right and indispensable quality of courageous leadership, difficult change can be achieved to improve the lives of Ghanaians and to fulfill their deepest aspirations. Mr. President, even though I'm not supposed to give vote of thanks, permit me to acknowledge the major support we received from the Council of State, the commissioners and key staff of the National Commission of Civil Education, the regional coordinating councils of Western, Volta, Brown and Ahafo, and Northern regions, the leadership of the Electoral Commission, the President and members of the National House of Chiefs, the regional House of Chiefs for Brown and Ahafo, Northern, Volta, and Western regions, members of Parliament from the Brown and Ahafo, Northern, Volta, and Western regions who were all fully consulted, the National Peace Council, the district and national officers, and the national leadership of the National Commission for Civic Education, and the several media houses who help us to go through this enterprise. We want to thank them very much. We also want to acknowledge the support of the Attorney General and the Minister for Justice. The number of times we had to go to him because this was a whole new thing to seek guidance on legal issues. We thank the IGP, the Minister of Interior and the National Security, who provided security, especially when the members of the Commission of Inquiry toured the whole country. We are very grateful to the Right Honorable Speaker of Parliament, who supported the Commission and the Ministry in our interaction with the members of Parliament. Mr. President, I also want to show gratitude to the Select Committee of Parliament on Subsidiary Legislations and the various joint consultative councils of all the petitioners from the 6 regions. Mr. President, I also want to thank the hard-working Deputy Minister for the Ministry of Regional Reorganization and Development, Honorable Martina James Akosa, and the staff of the ministry who were just seconded to this new ministry to help us go through this exercise. We are very grateful for the opportunity, and we thank God that we are witnessing this day. Thank you very much.
I'm sure he himself deserves as well a big round of applause. The Honorable Dan Kwekuboche, the Minister for Regional Reorganization and Development. Shortly, the head of the delegation from the Northeast region, the Nalerigu, will share with us some remarks. Ahead of that, a traditional appellation will be voiced for him. Shall we receive the Nalerigu first with the appellation, with a big round of applause?
Yama biya namla mami mamena pa pani bi satim pavia bulwaji jama kunyangun kurana bilbia na bilbia na woni yamang le kutin mralana satim pasarabia asuma dawdana pavia yabtu kan lukum borgo bulwaji na dajalo mangi kunyangun kurana bilbia wanda do namla nama blai mamena pa na ina bi mulgu pavia mulu pasarabia dang yibu be yoli afabla be bolga no lom satiman nayina bi na lo pawya gambalu mambe gamba no lom satiman nayina bi na lo pawya kana shela de bangulan tablu ngam pulgu na yimbelya mandami wunda tonin yesu ashena woni yuruso ngun yesu na woni yuran nayina bi na lo pawya kana shela de bangulan tablu ngam pulgu mulu pawya wouldn't one of the mammy na papa wouldn't be la man pavia. Power be at Nanya sa kulukum voyini. Bogan about doing Wokuya yuli. Bogan about doing Wokuya yuli. Bogan about doing Wokuya yuli. Na diana na wuna jelly kupala, Kabando pala wuna langar koga, the Nanya nini, the Unisalma de Panulbina. Bogan about doing Wokuya yuli. Yaman Pasarabi nini, the Unisalma de Panulbina. Mapa will be a Belmay. Wuku Shavka Chandari, Shavlamia, Mapa will be at Naya Sakulukum. Saruyan Tunglana, Bambala Babelson, Netobu, Yan and Nini, the Unisalma de Panulbina, Power be you. Bambala Babelson, Netobu, Napapa will be a Belmay. Yamar Pasarabia, Yana wouldn't tell a Kupalaga, Kabando Pala wouldn't lagar Quaga, Yan William India, Nina and Yuni Salma, Nina do Yuni Salma, and you live in Binamapo. My power will be a Belmay. Power will be a boy. Bamada and Wokuya, Bamada and Wokuya, Yamar Pasarabia, a Belmay. Will be a Abelmay, Adimang Biola Denia, Asumang Biola Denia, Ayel Karzan Biodinia, Sazu de Tumbalana, no Makati Kalakayu Kuborge, Mapa will be Andrea Palana.
Atara kumdanira, kwamela mbangaya, gudanda kumdanira,
komilamba pare. Wamba bani ba manga to mankule kumbani la. Wapala ni ba manga kumbani la. Komilamba pare. Andogama nampuya, na dumbwaguye nampuya. Ambana bwagu nampuya, na dudango nampuya. Andogama nampuya. Na dumbwaguye nampuya. Na be nampuya, mbana bwagu nampuya. Pamdo kuya ye nampuya, na pati pangwa bia nampuya, na bwagu ye nampuya. Na bia nampuya, mbana bwagu nampuya. Na be nampuya, mbana bwagu nampuya. Na pati pangwa bia nampuya, mbana bwagu nampuya. Pamdo kuya yore nampuya, sadu na tiga nampuya, tina morana nampuya, mbana bwagu nampuya. Jawadu e nampuya, jawadu e nampuya.
A big round of applause for the traditional appellations. Ladies and gentlemen, Yidana Zakaria speaks for the Nairi.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana, Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, Your Excellency, the Vice President, Dr. Alhaji Mahmoudou Bawumia, the Chief of Staff, Ministers of State, His Lordship, Justice Alan Broby and the Commissioners, members of the Diplomatic Corps, traditional rulers, Metropolitan Municipal DCs, personnel of the security services, distinguished invited guests, the press, ladies and gentlemen. I wish to register my sincere thanks and appreciation to the President and the government of the ruling New Patriotic Party for the creation of the Northeast region. Mr. President, the people of the Northeast region owe you a huge debt that we cannot pay till the end of time. Words will not be enough to thank you. The proverbial fowl has always said that it does not owe the mortar a word of thank you. This is not out of ingratitude, but a modest attempt to avoid monotony. For as many times women in the household visit the mortar to pound something for the family, the fowl will equally have a bounden duty to visit the mortar in search of food. This is the daily routine of every domestic fowl. It certainly cannot be the case that the fowl lacks the modicum of respect and courtesy to thank the mortar each time it pays a visit. Having said this, Mr. President, it will suffice to say a few words though. Mr. President, you are not just an astute politician and accomplished lawyer, but a champion of our democratic experiment. You are a peacemaker, a generational thinker, and above all, a peerless politician. You have devoted your entire life to serve humanity, sometimes at the very peril of your priceless gift of life. You have, over the last 2 years, since your assumption of the reins of leadership, broadened the frontiers of democracy. Your long wait in the queue in realizing your political ambition was divine. The iron curtains were never drawn to signal the end of your political career, because you were destined by Almighty God to lead the It pays to have patience. It pays to wait for God's own appointed time. You are an epitome of all virtues of courage, patience, and humility. You are indeed a rare gem of a politician whose services to Mother Ghana would have been sorely missed. Your giant footprints on the sign of time shall remain indelible. Ayiko, Mr. President, the push-up pam, the push-up pam. May the good Lord protect and preserve your life for the present and future generations to benefit from the fruits of your wisdom. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish to also thank all those who played diverse roles in the support of the creation of the Northeast region. I wish to make particular mention of my own son, the Vice President, Dr. Alhaji Mahmudu Bawumia, the hard-working Honorable Dan Kwekubochi, the General, my daughter, the Iron Lady of Northern politics and Ghana as a whole, Honorable Hajia Alima Mahama, the Honorable Salifu Said, you can be sure. Let the jaws drop. The Honorable Solomon Namlit Bua. Thank you for your support. The Parliament of Ghana, the Justice Alambrobi Commission of Inquiry, the Supreme Court, the Electoral Commission, and several other state institutions deserve a pat on the shoulder for a good job done. Your Excellency, I wish to assure you that the Northeast region is the vehicle to drive the development agenda of the people in the region. We shall partner to make sure that the engine of this vehicle is at all times oiled to keep it in perfect state and function. Ladies and gentlemen, the Northeast region has a fair share of natural resources. The region has large deposits of valuable minerals, such as gold, lime, dolomite, just to mention a few. Also, the region has rich fertile valleys dotted across for commercial farming. Those potentials need to be tapped for national development. There are also a number of untapped tourism potentials in the Northeast region. The Gambaga-Nakpanduri Scarf can be developed for paragliding, as well as the hippopotamus sanctuary at Nangruma to attract tourists. The new region is indeed an oasis of peace, a key and critical ingredient for development. We shall do all within our means to maintain the peace and social harmony we are currently enjoying. I wish to commend government for the timely intervention in the ethnic conflict between the Anufos and the Konkombes, which occurred a few days after the referendum. The conflict truncated the planned celebrations to welcome the gift from you. Your Excellency, I am aware your government has set up a fact-finding committee to inquire into the immediate and remote causes of the conflict. It is hoped that the findings and recommendations of the committee would be implemented to the letter to bring lasting peace to the parties involved and to the Northeast region as well. As we wait with bated breath for the committee to finish its work, I wish to call on the feuding factions to give peace a chance. Permit me to also state that the traditional authorities shall work together to nip any such potential sources of conflict in the bud. Let us be mindful of the fact that conflicts pose a serious threat to national development and the very survival of mankind. The key to growth, prosperity, and development throughout history is peace. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish to comment on another critical issue which poses a serious challenge to the development of the North. The young men and women from the northern sector of the country live in droves to the southern sector in search of non-existing menial jobs. The dehumanizing conditions in which some of them live is a dent to human dignity. It is my fervent hope that with the right mix of investment by government and the private sector, the mass exodus of the youth would drastically reduce. I therefore wish to extend my invitation to all key players and actors in the private sector to come and invest in the Northeast region. At this juncture, I wish to make a clarion call to the youth who have deserted home to come and join our development efforts. Those at home should endeavor not to join the exodus train. The solution to the situation of poverty in the North does not simply lie in running away from home, but having the courage and tenacity of purpose to stay back and working hard to defeat the root cause of poverty. I am upbeat about the prospects ahead of us. So must you. Your Excellency, today's function marks the climax of our collective efforts in the creation of the Northeast region. The overwhelming endorsement by the people during the referendum gives ample testimony of how dear the region is to the people. The expectations are so high. I wish to reiterate the fact that political leadership and duty bearers in the Northeast region must be prepared to work harder to accelerate the pace of development. The business as usual attitude should be a thing of the past. Ladies and gentlemen, the deprived nature of the new region need not be told. The only road which has been tarred is the stretch of road from Walewale to Nalerigu. All the other roads are in bad state and are more trouble at the height of the rainy season. It is a nightmare to travel to most of the places in the Northeast region. The situation is not different in the areas of health and education. It is my hope that the government will channel the necessary resources from the national kitty to prosecute our development agenda. I wish to reiterate my position that the Northeast region is created for the purposes of development only. Nothing untoward shall be done to stoke the embers of controversy surrounding our time-tested traditions on the revered institution of chieftaincy. Once again, I say a big thank you to you, Your Excellency, the President, and the government. Long live Ghana, long live Northeast region. The dream has just begun. Thank you.
The dream has just begun. A big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Those are the words of the Nairi, the overlord of the Mamprogo traditional area, and those are the words of the people of the Northeast region. Shortly, history will be made. History, shortly, will be made. His Excellency the President will share with us some remarks and publicly present the constitutional instrument CI 116 that creates the Northeast region. Mr. President, I'm told that the Bimoba Cultural Troupe has been selected and sent all the way from the Northeast region to sing some appellations for you before you speak to us this morning. The Bimoba Cultural Troupe. When Mr. President is done with his remarks, he will publicly present the constitutional instrument and then he will sign an attestation document that will serve as a record of what has happened here at the forecourt of the Jubilee House this morning.
Hello. Jerkore me. No. Yeah. No, mama, you'll be a year. Fana kentara yurbe na kentara yurbe fana kentara yurbe na kentara yurbe wa na kentara yurbe falinya na kome yurbe fana kentara yurbe ah na kentara yurbe fana kentara yurbe fana kentara yurbe.
Ladies and gentlemen, the dance they are performing is known as the Kontar dance. It's a dance of celebration of the bee movement.
And
if you are watching from wherever, it is because the people of the soon-to-be Northeast region are celebrating today the creation of a new region that will, among other things, spur development in the Northeast region.
Na kentara yurbe fana kentara yurbe ana kentara yurbe na kome yurbe kome yurbe na ke yurbe wa ana kome yurbe kondo yurbe ana kentara yurbe na kentara yurbe